Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we? Tonia Reeves looks confused for a second. She's not too sure. How are you guys? How are you, Tonia? You all right there? You looked a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
frazzled.
because it kept coming up. The actual sound kept coming up for me.
Oh, did it? No, no, not at all. How are you? It sounds like it's been a crazy world for you in computer world. It hasn't been a good start. Um,
No, my computer didn't want to start today, and of course now it just started, like
okay,
right now. But
as
it's
it
not.
does.
I'd love to say it's spirit, blah blah blah, but no, I've just got a dud of a computer, so
That happens sometimes. It really does. Sue,
it
good
does.
morning. How are you? Good to have you on board. If you're out there in the wonderful world of Facebook, say good day. Look, it's been very interesting with Facebook at the moment. There's been a few things where people are getting hacked, and there was a whole lot of stuff that was on the news
Mm.
this morning where um, people's it just sounded like everybody's Facebook account got hacked this morning. That's what I heard. It's not what happened, but that's what it sounded like.
It's crazy, isn't it? It just shows you sometimes. I always look at things like that as a bit of a collective message that if things are undermined and with things going on that are out of our control that we're being shown, sometimes it might be that there's stuff going on that we're not shown. So it's just like,
Yeah.
enter into our crazy world of being a human experience.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly what it is. We've got Lynn and Jill on board as well, which is pretty cool. Good
Hey
morning. How are
Lynn,
you all?
hey Jill,
How do you know
how
Lynn
is
and Jill?
how's everyone this week? Like, I've found this week I've been lacking motivation.
Yeah, that's been quite a common theme as well. Shelby, how are you? Good to have you on board. Yeah, motivation, that's been an interesting one. It's been happening a lot here in Sydney as well. Avichka, good morning. How are you all? Yeah, so what do you mean with motivation for you, Tonia? What's been going on?
Just things that I really could be doing that I'm choosing not to do.
Yeah.
Like just things that I'd normally commit to and knuckle down with. I've just been struggling being motivated and keeping, I've got shows coming up in 3 weeks, and I do like to not carry extra weight when I'm doing that, only because it's uncomfortable and you put your clothes on and it's like, it's just been like frustrating, but I'm not helping myself. So I'm actually reaching for the wrong food, and I'm just not, whereas normally I'd be focused. Normally I'd just go, yep, 3 weeks, I can do this,
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm just
100%.
finding a
Jen
lack of
feels the
motivation.
same. Jen,
Okay,
she
great,
goes,
Jen. I'm not on my own there. Yeah, there's
Sue's the
just, I don't
same
know.
as well.
Don't know whether it's a winter as well or a bit like, yeah. But
look, I woke up this morning saying that to Orla. I said to her, I go, this weather's really thrown me. Like, we go from 1 week of being mid 20s and then we're back into the cold again. And I'm a little bit over it. I've got to be honest. I'm being a human being. I'm just over the weather changes. And I just wonder, how do they do it in the UK or in Ireland and that, where, it's really like I don't think we as Aussies are used to having the mixture in weather. So it could be that, guys. Yeah. Look, Avichka's got some cool stuff there. Gilly, how are you? Good to have you on board. Good to see you there. Yeah, here you go.
yeah, Vitch's put dark moon energy can make you feel like that. Yeah, absolutely. And it has been at that point. I actually woke up to the moon the other morning, and I was probably about 3 mornings ago. I was awake, and it was really, really bright. And it was only, might have been 4 o'clock in the morning, but I just soaked in the energy of that moon. It was only, quite like a small slither, but it was bright.
Yeah, right.
And and I normally, because I love to connect with the moon, and normally that would give me a bit of, feeling a bit revised, but maybe it did the opposite of Ichka. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I haven't heard of a dark
low
moon.
energy.
What's a dark moon in comparison
So
to
dark moon is, basically the opposite to a full moon. So we're coming, it's
okay.
so instead of the moon being full, like the dark, like, so you've got the new moon, but yeah, you just have that where there's not as much light. And so when you think about it, it's makes sense that when the moon's, bright and full, it's like, yeah, everyone's a bit elevated, whereas when it's really small, it's energetically not as not as, you've got that low energy, like Avichka's saying. Comfort foods too. Yeah, I think comfort foods, Avichka, that's what I've been. I'm like, for God's sake, I've only got a few weeks, and it's like, oh, I just might eat that chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to do it. And that's okay. That's just being part of being a human being, and we'll snap out of that. When you feel low and you feel down and out, you're going to reach for your comfort foods. And if you're going to do that, guys, That's cool. That's just what you need at that moment. There's no golden rule to say no, you shouldn't.
Well,
It just is what it
I
is.
know. This week I reached for the blueberries that were like $10, but they're really good quality blueberries, and I went, you know what? That's in replace of chocolate. So I do have them there, and I have been eating those, but I still have tended to want them to go to the chocolate as well.
Nice. I like that. I like that. That look. Who else we got here? We've got Karen. Karen says you up in Yamundi on holidays. Yeah, good on you. Good place. Good part of the world.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely,
Awesome.
Karen. Hopefully you're enjoying that. Now I'm really curious too. Like Sue put out there, like she's struggling a bit. Jen feels a little bit how she's going as well. And what is it? I mean, you hear what Tonia says, and she's like, it's just not the motivation to do it. I feel, I don't know about you guys, just share because it's really cool. I mean, Gilly, you're over in the States, so I'd be interested to see what the energy's like over there and what the vibe is like over there as well. If this is something that we're sharing, g'day Rachel, how are you? And Shelbs has got the best answer. Just go to Tassie and lose some weight, live with Arnie Ann. I think we're all moving in, Shelby. I think you've just sold the dream. And Margaret's go, I'm used to the cold here in Ballarat, but we have some snow on the outskirts a couple of days ago. Madness. Yeah, look, cold's good. I like it. I think you're right, Margaret. I think what we've got here in Sydney is we've had this the what's it called, the weather pattern has come through that's just been raining all the way through summer. We haven't had a summer. We've had a lot of cloudy days for many, many months, like talking about 6-7 months now, 8 months. It hasn't really been normal here in Sydney. And I think that's really thrown us, because I'm the same as you, Margaret. I love the cold. I absolutely love it. But I think there's, in Sydney, there's a bit of like, oh, I know that it's going to be summer soon, so I can enjoy the winter for what it is. But we haven't had that break. But so I'm really curious. There feels like at the moment, like what you're saying, Tonia, what you're going through and what Sue's going through, and Jen as well, is you're almost like in a holding pattern at the moment. You're almost in the just chill out. Like we've noticed this week in the clinic has been the quietest week we've had pretty much since getting into a really good rhythm and really good stride of having clients consistently come in. So numbers are low. We're not the only ones though. It's everybody in the street. Everybody in the street is down on business at the moment.
Absolutely. And I was going to actually, before we came on, I thought, it'd be interesting to see how people are finding things, because you've only got to look at now, if you go to the supermarket, the cost of things and the cost of fuel. I mean, fuel's come down a little bit here in Victoria, but, like the little things like you just notice that people are being a bit more mindful with money right now. So, it's just interesting. And it's not to say, we're not spending, but you just notice that, if for those out there that might be struggling, it's just interesting to get that feedback if people are finding that, that things are costing more right now.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. You're not wrong about that. We're actually looking at items on the shopping in the supermarket. We're looking at them twice instead of just picking them up and throwing them in the trolley. That's for sure.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Places like Aldi are getting busier because they're the cheaper guys, and we're going, well, we might as well go there than anywhere else. But Wendy has she has a sprinkling of sunshine here, which I quite like. Wendy, this is a nice one. She goes, I'm happy. I'm crossing paths with some awesome, like-minded people. Wendy, share the love here. You are an awesome person. So share the love. Absolutely. But Margaret goes on to say here, she goes, energy generally seems very heavy all round. Yeah, that's interesting, Margaret. You've picked up on that, being the spiritual guru that you are as well. Yeah. What's your, Margaret, I'm always interested in what you've got to say. If you had to put your 2 cents in on a guesstimation of why that is, I'd love to know, because you've got a lot of good things to share. Let's see what's Rachel got there.
Yeah, Rachel's put here, she sold out her show, and usually that gets a flow-on effect of bookings, which normally is the case, but sometimes, Rachel, I found that too. So she only had 2 people book in. People have been careful with their money, and I think it's just, it's good to be aware of that. Like, it's not that you want to, put fear into things or go, it's all doom and gloom, but it's just good to be mindful of that and go, people are being a little bit more mindful of spending
Yeah.
at the moment.
Look, even
And
charities are down at the moment. Like I've been speaking to a few people that actually own their own charities or run a charity, I should say. And they say their numbers are down. People are not donating as much. People aren't even participating in fun runs as much or cycling events or anything like that. So there's a bit of a thing. I was actually referring to Tonia. Sorry, there was one that Rachel put up. And Rachel, you make me laugh all the time. You've got a very good gift in this. The comment above Rachel puts in, which she goes, it was a cool start to the day yesterday, but the day was nice, winter day. Nights are cold. The weather this year has really affected my mood, or maybe I'm just a moody bitch.
I missed that one. I'm glad you brought that up. Love it, Ray.
That's the one I referred to, and I thought, oh, I hope Tonia reads this one out. But you went, oh no, about her show, and I'm thinking in your head, I go, no, whatever about your show. This is more funny. It's hilarious. Rach, do you know what? I'm glad you've brought this up, Rachel. I really am. I've questioned my mood lately, and I'm trying to think, am I a moody Hungarian bastard? But so.
We'll get all confirming that one.
Yeah, exactly. All of well, yeah, and I've really had to, and Rach, I really like you sharing this one because I think there's a few of us questioning our moods at the moment. You know, you're questioning your motivation. There, Tonia. You got Sue questioning herself. You got Jen questioning herself. Margaret's jumped in and said, yeah, it seems like it's a little bit heavy at the moment. Bloody Shelby's losing weight. And then who is
living
it?
Her best life.
and Wendy's crossing positive people. So somehow we're on the wrong side of the fence, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to Wendy and Shelby's side of the fence somehow. Magically transfer it. They've got the magic recipe. So yeah, but you bring up a really good one. I like that, Rach. You know, there's a lot of, I don't know about you, Rachel or Tonia, but I've had to bite my tongue a lot in the last fortnight with things that have, how should I say, pissed me right off. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just pissed me off. And I've gone, no, I'm not going to say that, Tony. That's incorrect. All of your coffee's just there, darling. I had to get all her a coffee this morning. I didn't have to. I chose to. I said, oh, because she went and looked after a patient across the road. That's what I had to do. That's my housekeeping for the day, ladies. Does anybody else want a coffee? Just put a coffee order in. I'll run across the road and grab you one. But congrats on Rachel on selling out the show. That's really cool.
No, absolutely. And look, it's it's the way things go. Like you can't have the highs without the lows, and vice versa. It is how it goes. But it's interesting just to share because again, as usual on a Thursday, we'll all be motivated after this. We'll be like, yes, I'm motivated.
Yeah. Sorry, Wendy and Shelbs, if you can take the show over, we're just going to plug you in and just motivate us all.
Hey, Deborah, and hey, Geordie, how are we?
Hey,
welcome,
good
and
to see you guys.
Gay
as well. Good morning. Gay, you're on time, which is really cool. It's always good to see you on board. Lynn's on board as well. Yeah, she goes, it's you prefer the cold as well, Lynn. Yeah, me too. But the rainy weather, I'm with you. It's really hard to deal with. You're absolutely correct. That's what it is. Cold's cool. It's the constant rain. Lynn, you've just solved one of our world problems. Thank you very much for that. Well played.
Gay's put in here, it's been a really emotional week, so much stuff getting stirred up. Yeah. So, me energetically, obviously, there's stuff happening, and it's just good to be able to tune into what that is. Like Gay saying, what are you trying to say, Tony? All right, Margaret's got a good one here. A lot of people are struggling for a number of reasons, all looking for answers. For the first time in a long time, we are seeing an inability to connect, assist others, becoming very insular. Maybe lockdowns have changed us more than we realise. This is a really interesting point, Margaret. It's something that I've noted. Yeah. Seeing a big divide, those who are angry and out there, and those like you, Tony, who choose to observe and go quietly about your day. Not always quietly about his day, can I say?
Thank you, Tonia. Thank you. There.
Where's all this
This is why I've got a good mate called Tonia Reeves. He just pulls me up for how it is. And she's right. She's Margaret, I love what Margaret's saying here. Hey, this is brilliant, Margaret. I really like this. There's going to be studies done on this, on the impact of what COVID's had to society, which is quite interesting. I really like where you're coming with this one. Yeah, look, do you know what I've done, Margaret? Yeah. Yeah, Margaret, I go where we choose to observe and quietly go about. Do you know what I'm doing, Margaret? I think you're correct. I'm picking and choosing my battles a lot better. I think the older I get, and that's why I was going, okay, I'll let that one slide. I'll let that one slide. But there's other things where I've just gone, okay, this one's not sliding. This is, and you know, it's not a good thing. But I love where Margaret's coming from. It's so cool. And Gay says as well, it's been a real emotional week. So much stuff getting stirred up. You said that one before. I know Gay's going through a lot with her son and everything like that. So, which is a tough one as well. So I'd love to know how that's going on. Shelby goes on to say, my magic recipe, I hate it when she's all bubbly like this when I'm down and out. Darn you, Shelby. Give me a piece of you. I'm gonna have a piece of you in a minute. Let's go. My magic recipe is the idea that you need to stop just surviving and start fighting for your life. I love that, Shelbs. Do you know what? You're right. What I think, do you agree with that, Tonia?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And look, sometimes you do need to, like, I think one of the biggest things this year, and you hear it said, said often enough, but surrendering to the process and trusting the process, and almost sometimes it's good to still keep your motivation and keep sort of, I suppose, focus, but to some degree, it's about letting go of our attachment to the outcome in many cases. And I've noticed that this year for me, when I've let go of the outcome and just said, look, I'm taking things as they are, and I'm not going to get worried about X, Y, and Z, or if things are coming up, or I've got this, or I'm organizing that, or I've applied for things and just gone, applied, let it go, move on. If it's meant to be, it will be. And, and I think there's a lot of power in that. But sometimes also you can sit there and overthink things like that. So it's being mindful.
100%, Tonia. Yeah, you can really overthink things, and that sucks. What I like, you got to be proud of your daughter here, Shelby. This comment is quite powerful, where you go, not just surviving, but start fighting for your life. Or the other way to say that, Shelbs, is not surviving, but actually thriving, which is the same as what you're saying there, Shelbs. But you know what, Shelby, I'm going to just say this. You should have said this as the last comment of the show to really end it on a high. And that would have been so profound, Shelbs. Like you would have been the oracle of this show. They would have gone, oh my God, Shelby's just wrapped up the whole show. We're going to end on that note. Shelbs, love your hoops, but just your timing. Don't, it's good. I support you. I think it's brilliant, but just your timing. Keep them coming, Shelbs. Don't you dare stop. Rachel comes up. She goes, I moved to Queensland for sunshine and family. I got rid of my family. No, sorry. It says I moved to Queensland for sunshine and family. Well, this has been the coldest year, and lack of sun is shit. Rachel, you should consider a job as working on the telly doing the weather reports. I think you'll be quite good.
People love that when that's going to be a shit day. Just stay at home.
Just shit.
Don't do anything.
But it is unmotivating. It is. Look, Rachel, I feel sorry for Rachel because she's gone up, and rightfully so. Moving up to Queensland, you expect a lot more sunshine and everything like that. I've got, as you know, I've got family up there, and they've said it's a really bad summer, a terrible winter, etc., etc. So I really get it. I really feel for you, Rach, because you were going for that change, and it will come. Don't you worry. I blew my stack last night at Travers, and today I'm feeling really low and guilty and sad. Travers didn't organise the weather. Come on, Rach, let's be fair. But in saying that, what I do, okay, and that's pretty shit. You know what I love about you here, Rach, is that you've admitted that you've lost your shit at him, you've blown up at him, and now you feel really low and guilty and sad. And I know you're the champion that will go up and just say, look, Travis, I'm really sorry. I don't know why I blew up. And then move on from there. Yeah, it's a shit feeling, isn't it, Tonia? You'll say things in the heat of moment that you really regret, and nobody likes that. So I feel for you on that, Rachel. That's a tough one, man. Hopefully you guys get through it.
And we've also got to remember, we hurt the ones that we love. Unfortunately, it's just how it goes, because we feel in that moment, you feel like you can be honest and direct with them without, So sometimes we do beat ourselves up over it. But I just say, look, just keep in mind, you will hurt the ones you love, and it just shows how much you do love them. Yeah. Because otherwise you wouldn't be having a fight with them. You just go, yeah, whatever, walk away.
Of course. So, that's it. That's the easy thing. That's what you used to do as kids at school. I'm just going to hang out with the other kids. Shit changes. Deborah comes up. She goes, stuck in the house, got COVID again. Oh, you poor thing. Alex gave it to me and my husband.
Alex. Oh, yes, because Alex is working in the hospital now. Oh,
Okay.
goodness, Deb, that makes it hard. Yeah, and I hope your hubby's all right because John hasn't been good. Well, so
Oh,
he doesn't.
hasn't he? Has he?
He doesn't. No, he doesn't really need it.
Okay.
Ah,
Sorry to hear that, Deb. That's no good.
Yeah, sending love, Deb. That's no
Absolutely.
good. Don't need that. Wendy's
Ooh,
put in here a brilliant documentary to watch, Back to Eden. Wendy, tell
okay.
us about it. You've shared the link. Awesome.
Hold on a second. Wendy,
love.
I forgot to say her last comment was that also. Wait, I just got to do a domestic thing. Well, my phone's there and it's hooked up to Spotify for that speaker, so just push play on it. First world problems, ladies and gentlemen.
Love it.
Sorry,
And
you were
also,
saying.
Rachel, I'll be back up for Brisbane MBS. Yes, in a few weeks, 3 weeks, I think. I believe. What's the date today? Yeah.
But Wendy's been saying, I want back to it and tell me, look, Wendy, you've been growing your own vegetables, and as a result of that, you found out there was a lot of happiness. I wanted to pull that comment up as well before, but that's ages ago. So yeah, Back to Eden. What is Back to Eden about, Wendy? I'm interested, but I'm curious, but I'm not there yet. You haven't sold me the dream. What's it about?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, interesting.
Because Back to Eden sounds like one of those videos that your dad had at home stacked away in the bookshelf where you couldn't find it. And it's called Back to Eden. And you go, oh, I'm not watching that. It's just not right.
I watch forest food videos every night. Oh, good on you. It is great if you can feed your cup up with positive things. Like I was the same. I've actually, I purchased the Hay House app, which I think is like $70 for the year or something, and that's got great stuff. So I traveled to Hay on the weekend, and I listened to that on the way up, and and then you get really, yes, I'm really empowered, and then the next day you wake up and go, I need to I need to keep listening to it.
Yeah. No, I like those kinds of things because what's really good about listening to a really cool podcast or anything like that is it will silence the voice in your own head, which is really important because the voice in your own head, no offense, ladies and gentlemen, most of the times it sucks. It's not your best friend. And if you can shut it up with a really cool podcast or a really cool audio book or something like that, you're on a winner already, even if it's just a recipe and they're just telling you 2 cups of flour, pinch of salt, 300 mils of water and just stir gently. That's already better than what happens in my head. I don't know about you guys, but I'd listen to that all day.
Absolutely. Gay's popped in here. It's not Tony. Nothing's changed. I'm letting him have his space in regards to his son. Hormones are rampant with her daughter, and it's not been easy to read. Yeah, her daughter's just had a beautiful baby girl. Oh, yes,
let's
hormones.
back up a little bit. Wow, that's hard. That's Gay. I feel for you on this one. That's what do you do?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you a question, Tonia. This is not a that's terrible statement. No, Tonia, what do you do? Gay needs an answer. I need an answer because this is a crappy situation.
Yeah,
come on, people.
it is. It's a hard one. You just have to be there when somebody's in that hormonal space. She won't be able to control it either. So it's a hard one.
Do you make them aware that they're okay? Sure. Do you want to shoot that one down?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Not when you just had a baby. So she's not only got one child, just had a baby. The hormones are all over the place. So you just really need to just be there, and you can't take anything personally, Gay, because she won't be meaning it. It's it is what it is. But I think as a mum, you got to go back to when you were pregnant and stuff. And sometimes that you're crap. Your hormones are going nuts, but you just can't help it. So you don't need to be reminded that that's what it is. You just need somebody there to go, it's okay, it'll be all right. As hard as that is, as a mother for your child, Gay. But I think it's you just can't take it personally either. It's not about you. It's just what she's dealing with.
Yeah, that's a tough one though. That's Tonia and Gay. That's really tough. That's although all the answers behind it for why they're acting like a monster at the moment, just rampant, and you're like, oh geez, how do I bite my tongue? That's so hard. That is super hard. Gay, you've got so much patience. You're an amazing human being. You absolutely adore your children, which is quite beautiful and is quite evident. And the thing is, what I love is that you come on board here, and I suppose that's what this community is about. Is let's have a chat about it and see, if anybody's got any ideas for Gay on how to deal with it. I like the one that Tonia's got, is just let it be, just chill out, take a, you're almost on the reserves bench, and you only get summons when you're needed, and that summonings might not be a pleasant experience. I'd be like, Mum, come over here and do this, which has got to be hard. It is hard.
It is hard. It's not easy because you do want to snap back.
I can see why dads don't try to do the mum role, because they're shit at it. That's why. Males, if there's any males out there, it's true. Was it? Deb's got a nice one here. Yes, we're getting better, and good news. Alex lost 79 kilos.
Wow.
That's a lot to lose, Deb. How long did that take?
A whole me. It's a whole me.
Yeah, absolutely. You just lost Tonia Reeves. Alex has just lost Tonia. You see what he's done?
Yeah, he's amazing. Like he had the gastric sleeve, I believe, and he's absolutely killing it. So it's so good to for his health, and he'd be inspiring for you too, Deb, wouldn't he? Like I'd imagine you couldn't help but not be inspired, and well, obviously you'd be proud being mum, but I'd imagine too it'd be very inspirational.
I love stories like that where somebody's lost something like 79 kilos. That's a big achievement. That really is. It reminds me, Ton, did you, or anybody out there listening, is there anybody else listening still, Tonia? But if there is...
Yes, a couple.
Did you ever hear that story, the lady that went on a weight loss mission, and basically she's the lady that's famous for walking around the clothesline. So what she did was, she was a huge lady, and she did one lap around the clothesline, and the next day she did 2, and then it was 3, and then she kept on building it up, and that's how she lost her weight. And from there, it just snowballed from there. It took her ages, but it sort of reminds me of this, Deb, when somebody loses that much weight. It's just a beautiful thing. It's so good for your self-esteem, and so good on physically. It's your organs are actually a lot more happier for it too. Your liver, your kidney, your heart doesn't have to work as hard and things like that. I'm blown away. I love it. That's a great share, actually. Actually, Shelves, you know how you need a spot on this show? She goes, I think I need a spot. You'll be running this show pretty soon without your mother and myself. It'll just be the Shelby show. You've already got your own show. Don't you worry about that.
She has. She's a natural entertainer. It's Shelby's words of wisdom. If you ever feel alone, listen to a true crime podcast. You'll be convinced someone is outside. You won't feel alone.
Yeah, absolutely. You never feel alone when you've got a stalker. Now, Wendy's got this great one. Wendy, you and I share a bit of a common passion here. She goes, she's watching a lot of food. What is it? I watch food forest videos. Haven't watched them yet. And it's basically where creating a food forest that empowers people to take back their power by reconnecting to nature. I like that a lot. That's really cool. Do you remember some of the early days? There was those guys who used to have their own farms, and it was a chef, and then they'd grow all their own farms, grow all their vegetables, and they'd have all their livestock. And if they didn't, they go into town and bartered like the other, and then they'd come in and they cook something out of the ingredients that they have on their property or they bartered for. And it was something called the River. But it sort of reminds me of that, Wendy, where I like that. If you like that kind of stuff, Wendy, there's another great show called Taste of the Nation with a lady called Padma. And she goes around America and she has a look at all the different food experiences that have been brought into America, like Mexican food, Italian food. And it has a look at the origins, but gets into the families that actually have brought the food over and what it means for them and how it connects back with their culture, and sort of like the lines of what you're talking about. Don't worry about me. I'm just dying. Go on. It's fine now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you can focus on any kind of hobby that brings joy, it's about principles are around connecting
cyberspace.
back into the passion,
She's
being
back.
passionate. Am I back?
Sort of back. Is she back? Yeah, you sound like you got that tinny sort of thing. Like that's that tin can in my head that goes around the squash court. That ding, 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 ding. That's what it was sounding like.
We love that.
That's what it sounded like. Thank you for that. But that's okay. But look, Wendy's got some good stuff here. Let's just move on, pretending we heard what you said, Tonia, because that was great. Wendy's got some.
I love it.
Sorry, Ton. Sorry, I'm being cheeky. I know I'm being cheeky, but
no, that's fine. You know I love it.
You say that now and then you punch me in the arm later. That's what I do. Wendy's got some great stuff here in relation to gay here. A girl needs her mum when she's going through challenging times. I needed my mum more than ever. Now, Wendy, that's an interesting one too. Although you would have been maybe not approachable, or you might have been a little bit hormonal, or you've been, I'm not going to use the words that's going to make me dig a deeper hole, okay? But let's say you're losing it. But I think what Wendy's saying here, the more that she's lashing out, the more that she would need her mum. Would that be correct, Wendy? Am I reading that correctly? Because you guys going through challenging times. Yeah, that's really good advice there. So Wendy, I'm going to flip it back onto you because I like this share. When you're going through challenging times and you know within your hearts of hearts how approachable you were or how unapproachable you were, how would you want your mum to actually behave? Or would you like her to sit on the sideline and just wait for her to be called in? Or do you need your mum to step up and say, hey, Wendy, what you're doing right now is not the best? Or what are the other ways of looking at it? Because that's really interesting. So I think what Gay's asking for here, she's going, I'm a little bit lost here. What the hell do I do? You know, and that's a fair enough call. So I'd be interested to know how you'd throw that in around there. Rachel goes on to say underneath, you might want to read that one out there, Tonia, at 9:58 a.m.
I don't have numbers on mine.
She goes, a mum's role is the toughest job in the world.
There we go. The toughest job in the world. It's bloody hard, constantly thinking of someone's well-being and hearing mum, 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 mum. In my case, it's my name 300 times.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it.
It's not a part-time role, is it, Rachel? And what I think that sort of marries up with what Wendy's saying, but I think as an infant, as a child, or you'd be going mum, 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 and it's quite interesting. All you're saying is I want mum's attention, I need her help, or whatever it may be. I think when we get older, we lose the way to say, how do we call out for mum? We just have tantrums, or we just go off the handle and we expect mum to be there because that's what's always happened. So it might come off in a different way, which is, as adults, we're not very good at asking for help, are we?
No. And even Avitchka's put here, she's got the other end of the scale with a defiant, just turned 4-year-old girl.
Yep.
So, as a mum, that's a tricky one to navigate too. 4-year-old, oh my God.
Just give her a set of car keys, Avitchka, and tell her to drive to work and make sure she's not late. See how she goes with that one. Tell her to make dinner one day. We'll see how she goes. She knows, Avitchka knows what she's doing.
Absolutely. But it is triggers and button pushing. Kids are great at it. Aren't you, Shelby? I love it. Love it. Susie's put in a good one here. I took my power back by planting broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy, etc. The white cabbage butterfly caterpillars took their power and ate all my seedlings. I now eat a lot of my weeds. This time of year, chickweed, sticky weed feature in my salads. Good on you, Susie. You're turning something from, what could be a disaster into let's take the power back. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
I just picked a cabbage yesterday in my garden. I started off, I've got heaps of garden beds, but because I started traveling, I haven't really filled them up like I did a few years ago. So, but you can't beat fresh grown stuff, that's for sure.
No, there's something about it, isn't there? There's an energy about it. There's a taste about it. There's a smell. There's just everything about it. And there's this, I suppose, pride as well. You go, I actually grew this. This is pretty cool. And you can see that. Shelby had to leave. She'll see us next week. And she wants to host this show. I don't think so, Shelby. You just don't bounce when you want to. You got to be here for the long term, girl. The
She
Shelby
wants
Show.
to inherit it, Tony. Tony, when we're too old, we'll give it to her, right?
Oh, should we get? And welcome to the Shelby Show. I'll start when I want to, and I'll finish when I want to wrap up. Thank you for coming on board today, and that's what it'll sound like. You'll either be there for 10 minutes or you'll be there for 7 hours. It's up to Shelby. We'll see how we go.
That's right. See how she feels on the day.
Yeah.
I love Karen's comment here. I'm pissed off because I'm a coffee snob and I've lost my taste buds since COVID 8 days ago, and lattes taste crap now. So I'm drinking instant coffee, which I normally hate. My daily luxury of my soy latte is gone at the moment. How long does this last? I miss enjoying my coffee. This is my third world problem. Not happy, Jan. I love it. I love it, Karen.
Look,
you know
Karen,
what, Karen? You know what I reckon? Something that could come out of this. That $5 for your coffee every day. Just keep putting that aside, because when your taste buds come back, then you can go, you know what, I'm going on a bender. I'm going to go and spend all that money going to eat and have heaps of coffee and whatever else, and make it like a little reward for yourself.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, Tonia, but I can understand where you're coming from. I think, Karen, this is a spiritual blessing that you've just been given. I'm a coffee snob too. And you know what, Karen, between you and me, I wish I wasn't, because you know yourself, Karen, when you get bad coffee, how irritable do you get? Like, you know, you spent your good money, coffee shit, like how can they get it wrong? It's the only job they've got, blah, 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 you know? I think this is really a gift for you, Karen. I think get onto International Roast, which is, I think, around about $7 or $8 for one of those big tins, right? Really, really big tins. And I think get used to International Roast or Nescafe Blend 43 if you're a little bit richer, and enjoy that, and just get used to that and never go back to the lattes ever again, because you'll never have a disappointed day. You'll always be happy. International Roast has had a low quality standard for many decades, as has Nescafe Blend 43. So I reckon, I wish I had your issue where I couldn't taste a bad coffee or a good coffee anymore. That's my 2 bits, Karen. I hope that's helped you and brought you some enlightenment on the spirituality of coffee and your progression into seeing the light around coffee and where we're at today.
Feeling for you, Karen. It's nice to have something to look forward to.
Yep.
So Wendy's put in here, I'm very independent, and when I was feeling like a failure mum, I wanted her support and assistance. My own daughter says I tell her she's doing amazing and that's what she wants. Most people just tell her she should be doing better. Empower them, encourage and offer practical help, washing, folding, etc. Great idea, Wendy. Yeah.
That's a great, Gay. That's not a bad one there if you're hearing this, if you're still on board. Wendy, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
So Gay's putting here total opposite this time around. Been told not to visit unannounced, ring or message. Unfortunately, she isn't answering. I'm stumped how to navigate this time around. So it's a little bit. I think you got to honour that. If that's what she wants, you can just send her a message to say, I love you. I'm here if you need me, let me know, and then give her some space, Gay.
Yeah, that's a tough one, Gay. I feel for you. That's really, really, really tough. I don't get it. You don't get it, which is more important. I don't think she gets it either. No. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem. Wow, that's tough, Gay. I'm with Tonia on this one. You just honour it, and what else can you do, mate? You can't do anything, because the more you try to go in there, the more you're just going to piss them off, really. Yeah. At the end of the day, aren't you?
You'll be at the brunt of the anger. You know, if you do what's not been asked, then they're going to lash out at you, and ultimately it's not your, it's not anything you've done. It's just how they're feeling. So.
Yeah, you become the thing they tread all over because they ask stuff that you're the easiest one to lash out on. Karen, we know you meant pissed off. I was all over that. Don't you worry.
So, yeah, it's a hard one.
There you go. Vic's got one. She goes, love me when I least deserve it, because that's when I really need it. One of my favorite sayings. I like that too, Vichka. That's a pretty good one. That's just above Gay's one, a couple one up there. She goes, love me when I least deserve it, because that's when I really need it. One of my favorite sayings. And that's, I like that a lot of Vichka. I think that's got a lot of power in it. And I think the question is, how do we show love in these difficult times? And that's the question, is, do you let them have their own space? Do you let them be? Do you intervene? How do you show love in this scenario? And I think that's what we're dancing around. So it's very, 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 it's so powerful what you're saying there, Vichka. It really is. It's just how it's shown.
And it comes back to, not being attached to whether she replies or not, like sending a message of encouragement and love. It might be daily or every second day, but you can't, when they've said not to, like, all you can do is give support in that message. And at some point, if she's feeling down and needs that support, she will respond. So, no answer usually means she's doing what she needs to do.
Yep, absolutely. So I was just reading Rachel's one. A defiance one is good because you don't want them to lose the tenacity. But when you're on the end of your TNT, it's not fun. Sometimes you've just got to turn around and laugh. I try not to squelch after defiance in jet. Yes, Master 5. Yeah, it sounds like you and Avichka are going through the same thing. Yes. I think you do laugh at them. Laughing will, I suppose, disempower the tantrum, because they're expecting you to be angry back, and you're like, ha, whatever, kid. See how long that goes for.
Great. I like that diversion. I'm laughing at all these coffee comments. It's so funny. I love Susie. Susie, you never fail to give me a laugh. International roast is a prison coffee.
Seriously, Susie, I didn't know that.
It is.
Is it? Look.
Yes. International roast was like, if you don't really like coffee, you would have that, I'd imagine. I shouldn't be a coffee snob when it comes to that. Like,
my mum and dad bought International roast all the time. Here you go. This is one for you. And they thought it was brilliant. They'd be like a whole tin for themselves. Like, that's going to last us a year. Like, I remember because they had all these big tins, right? And they used them as money jars and everything else they were doing. Because in Hungary, where they grew up, it was like 1 tablespoon of International roast, the equivalent into a big pot of water. And that was your coffee for everybody, right? So when you got a tin this big, they were like, oh, it's like they just found a gold mine. Like, this is brilliant. Taste wasn't important. It was volume that was important to them. Now I know it's in prisons. I wish mum and dad was still alive. I would have given it to them now. That is brilliant. Prison coffee. That's the way to go, ladies and gents. Yeah. If you're feeling locked up at COVID, have the real experience. Add some International roast today. Karen's coffee.
I love this.
Yes.
You got to read this one, Tony. This is for you.
No, I think it's better if it comes from you, Tonia. I like it already. Go on.
I think that's bullshit, Tony. I'm laughing still. And we'll be a coffee snob. No effing instant. Definitely no International roast. Let's get real. I know. I'll try coffee bags. Yeah, Jen's here going, coffee bags are good.
Yeah, coffee bags aren't too bad. Look, if you're in Tassie, go to I think it's called Villanero is what they're called in Tassie. That's a big coffee company there. They're really, really good. They got good coffee pods and that. The coffee bags aren't too bad. I'm with you on that, Karen. But you know what? Look, I normally get, Karen, we're going to get personal now. We're going to get really personal. My coffee of choice is a batch brew. Absolutely love it. So I don't have milk anymore. I haven't had milk for about 10 years. But a batch brew, if you ever get onto that, give it a go. It's sort of like, it's like a filter. It is a filtered coffee, and it's almost like you get all the berries and the nut flavors and all that in the coffee. And it's almost like a tea, but it's quite nice. It's not as acidic. It's not as hard. When you get to there, that's when you know you're a true coffee snob. So, sorry, you're saying?
I like my Nescafe espresso.
Oh, that's terrible. Tonia, I wouldn't even admit that. Not in the year 2022.
I love it because
you're one of those people. Yeah, I go in. I don't know about you guys. I go into the supermarket and you see all the coffee up there, or instant coffee, and I go, "Who the hell buys this shit anymore?" Now I know, Tonia.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's good. At least you saw that movie. Sean, what do you got up here? Free advice. Just remember the cost Tony charged. Coffee.
Yeah, how much money we spend on coffee? We spend a lot on coffee, don't we?
Well, Sean, you make a good point, but actually, it's quite interesting. There's a book that was out there, and it was about the social dilemma that we have, and one of the things is how we're losing our social interaction within our community, right? You sound like the Matt Preston of the coffee one. Yeah, Matt's cool. We get along. We fist pump. We get it. But look, and they talk about, and Sean makes a good point. What's it cost for a cup of coffee? But what's it cost not to have a cup of coffee? Because they talk about the social dilemma being in the sense of where we're not going out to the post office anymore because we don't really post mail anymore. We don't pick up stuff that much from the post office unless you're getting a lot of stuff delivered. We're not going to the news agency anymore to pick up our paper or get the milk or anything like that. So there's social interactions with the shopkeepers, with the post office people, with the butcher, with the local greengrocer and all that that's sort of gone away. So Sean, for the way I would look at that is I actually like the interaction that I have with the coffee shop owner or the barista, because you get to know them, they get to know you, and you get to have your little, it's just that little connection that I get to have that makes a difference. So there are sometimes I won't feel like a coffee, but I'll go get one because I just want to have that. I miss that little bit. I don't know if you guys are the same, but yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I've often thought. I'd love to get, like, I do love the pods, and I've often thought, because I have black coffee. So I'm a black coffee. Every now and then I might have a chai latte with almond milk, but I'm pretty much a black coffee person. So I was going to go and get the Nespresso, because I thought that'd really work for me. Yeah, but I do enjoy, exactly like you say, Tony. To me, I enjoy someone else making it for me. So when I go out, I'm thinking I'll just stick with getting it when I go out rather than getting it all set up at home, and then I don't get that interaction. And especially when we're traveling, it's like you go when you travel, I like to cook myself for a fair part of it, but at least I'll go and spend money having a coffee somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. That's like your treat and whatnot. Karen goes, but my question is, when do my taste buds return after COVID? And who's had that? I haven't had that. Have you had that, Tonya? When you
No, I haven't. COVID? No, I haven't.
I know a few people have. That's a good question, Karen. If somebody knows,
Kim said Kim's got, my mum had COVID in April, still doesn't have her taste buds back. I was hoping I'd get it so I wouldn't have taste buds, then I wouldn't eat, then I wouldn't be having the conversation of not fitting into my pants.
No, that's no excuse. You still eat.
If it doesn't taste good, though, would you not? I don't know. I suppose, no, it's emotional eating, isn't it?
That's correct. Yeah. That's what you'll do is you're getting the sugars out. Therefore, there's a whole lot of. I'm not going to go there. Too sciencey for this crew. Now,
Karen, Karen, I'm with you. Don't worry about saving money on coffee. Just bloody go and buy it. If that's your treat, do it.
Yeah.
It's like telling my partner, don't buy beer every day. It's not going to happen.
He's going to do it anyhow. Rachel goes, International roast is a laxative. Cool. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for Rachel. That's something always good to know.
Oh my God, I'm being so entertained today. You guys are rocking it. I'm loving these comments.
We're
crossing between coffee and taste buds and daughters and mums and issues. I'm loving it. That's pretty cool.
It is. And Wendy comes up here. She goes, I do also cop the brunt of my daughter's stuff. It's not always peaches and cream. Yeah, that's a tough one. So it's similar to what Gay's going through. It's the same as what Gay's going through. Now, Wendy, how do you deal with it? I know you've shared a little bit, but as you said, it's just holding that space for them, which is always hard.
And Susie's put a good one here too. Keep picturing in your heart center joy, laughter, a connection with your daughter. Manifest your daughter back. So, keeping
does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like if you have a fight with somebody and you send them love, just each day, take a moment to send love. Sometimes it can still take time for things to reconcile, but you're kind of shifting that energy. So it's not the negative, it's not that feeling of being hurt. And, because basically what we feel, we radiate. So, I love that one, sure. Susie. That's a hard one to sometimes do, but definitely a good
Especially
one to be reminded of.
With somebody.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I like it, Susie. Yeah. That's a real.
But I love Susie's other one, that entertainment. Because we like to laugh here.
I'm buying us some green trackies. I like that. That's just
Prison
prison
clothes.
uniform. Well done. Yeah. That would be quite funny, actually, Susie. That would crack me up if you did that. and she'd have no idea why she's getting green tracksuit pants, right? None. She'd be oblivious to it, right? And you'd piss yourself laughing every time she wears them. Good call, I like it.
Then flicking back to the mother-daughter,
Yep.
Gay's put here, yes, it can be a slippery slope when to speak up and when to stay quiet.
Yep.
It just depends on, do you want to be in the firing line or not?
Yep, absolutely. That's look, Gay, you guys are going away soon, though, aren't you? I'm pretty sure Gay's got travel planned pretty soon, from memory. I think.
Absolutely, and Avich has got a great one here. Yeah, so hopefully, if Gay is travelling, that might give her that bit of a space a little bit. It might make it easier. I love Avich because here, give her the space she's asking for. She's only going to get more upset with you and hurt you more. She might feel you aren't listening or respecting her boundaries. We hurt the ones we love the most. Try to send her love without any expectation, which is so difficult to do. Having expectations is only hurting you. Yeah, big hugs. It is really tough. Yeah, thanks, Avichka, for
that's great.
You know, that's great advice, and that's, you know, sending Gay a lot of you know, love in amongst that, which is beautiful, because it is hard. It's hard to navigate when you're in that situation.
Oh, 100%. And Gay, I hope this is helping you out a little bit, because, you know, that's what we're about on a Thursday morning. So, yeah. You know, what about this one, guys? I'm going to throw one out there. Just give me your 2 cents on it for Gay. I reckon if Gay just did her own stuff, whatever it is, and kept herself busy and was just there for whenever her daughter needed, but she started to live her own life, in the sense like, I'm going to go do this hobby, or I'm going to go down and hang out with that friend, or I'm going to go away on holidays, this, that, the other. Then the focus becomes like, okay, I'll just hang out with my daughter when she needs me, because that's how it's getting played out at the moment. But I'm going to make sure I enjoy my life in between. Is that a bad thing to do, or should she be sitting at home waiting for the phone call for when she's got to help her daughter out?
I think it's a great thing, Tony. And I think for many of us as parents, we do need to remember that we need to have our own life, and not, you know, because we do tend to get sucked into the vortex or living life in regards to our children, especially Gay's in a similar situation as me, that our children are, you know, they're older, they're off living their lives. The best thing we can do is live our life, and, you know, because it's setting that example too. It's encouraging them to do that. Say, hey, you know, get your power back. You know, live your life on your terms, but, you know, don't live your life just based on you know, your children and family, because yes, they're number one, and yeah, you know, you do anything for family, and you know, that you've got that amazing connection that never goes, but you still need to have you. And I think you're right, Tony. I think great observation.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not too sure. I'd love to know how other people think. Welcome to this. This feels like a really good ethnic dinner at the moment. Let's go back to Rachel Peters lost her taste buds for 3 weeks. So just to let you know, there it was about 3 weeks. Talking about COVID, how long does your taste buds take to come back? So thank you for that, Rachel. Where do I find it? Geez, Jen, I'll tell you what, if we were at dinner, I'd pick up my glass of wine and go, sorry, Jen, just remind me, what am I trying to look for again? Because I've lost the conversation in amongst the craziness. And I'd love to answer you, Jen. So I'm not being rude. I'm just saying, oh, geez. Susie, she goes, no, coffee bags. Ooh. Oh, well, Susie, you know what? You would never survive if you were on Gilligan's Island. I'll tell you that much with that attitude, Susie.
I love whoever said the Sydney cider giving coffee. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever put that comment.
It's brilliant. It's quite true, though. We ask. Look,
I loved
Melbourneites are fine coffee connoisseurs. I'm going to say people in Melbourne are quite. People in Sydney are coffee snobs. Now, there's a difference. There's coffee snobs have an attitude. Coffee connoisseurs have an appreciation. That's. I'm moving out of Sydney. Actually.
I loved it. I lost the comment. I was trying to find it. So funny. And Karen says here,
Susie,
you're the coffee
Susie,
connoisseur. You're the winner. You're the winner.
No, there is no winner. There's just A lot of love when it comes to coffee. Here we are talking about
Oh
beans
yeah,
and how they
Susie.
get
Yeah,
crushed and
Susie. Now for
roasted.
some statism.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sydney siders give coffee. Yeah, I know. Look, who am I, Susie? Honestly, just get me off this program.
I love Rachel's love without expectation. There
Oh,
you
that's
go.
yeah.
That's it.
I have it tattooed on my body as a reminder. Yeah. Tell you what, Rachel, that's what I would need. I'd need it tattooed as well because that shit ain't easy to remember. It's not.
No.
I'm gonna ring up Kylie and go,
Can,
I need it. I get it on my forearm there. I need it tattooed there. I need one on the back of my hand because it's a constant reminder. It's a good reminder, Rachel. I really like it. I think it's great.
and we do as humans. It is automatic that we go, we do something and expect a response, isn't it? Like it's,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes that can be the reminder is that you do something and you don't get angry that somebody doesn't reciprocate it. Like, so you lose that expectation. I think that's a great example, Rachel. And I'm just trying to think of a real life example of that.
Look, the problem, what happens is to love without expectations. Sometimes it can be interpreted as a sign of somebody being disrespectful to you. Yeah, like you put something out and you don't get something in return, which is the anticipation of something. So then you got to question, are they just being disrespectful? Do they not like me? Or are they just going through a bad time? All of those three scenarios evoke a different response. And that's what messes with your head. And what you're saying, Tonia, is maybe just get the narrative around that story one to suit you. Oh, they're just in a bad mindset. They don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
So I just got to love without
Because
expectation. Yeah.
How often is that? Somebody's pissed off because of something that has nothing to do with you, but you just happen to message them or speak to them during that time frame where they're venting. So then you cop it. And 99% of the time, it's not about you, it's about them. So then we get into our head and go, what have we done? Oh my God, have they, has something happened? What? And we take responsibility when in most parts, it's the other person dealing with their stuff. So like Rachel said, if you love without expectation, then that also, when we do something, that is the way that we interpret things to others, and we will start to get that back. So it's like if you start to love without expectation, you'll find you come across people the same. And it can start as little things. Yeah, and it can start as little things. An example I just thought of then, right? Because I went away on the weekend and I was driving the motorhome, and I belong to a few sites on people that have, caravans, motorhomes, whatever. And so when you're traveling, you normally wave. So we'll wave to caravan people, to motorhome people, and always, like when you're on the road, you just wave. And I remember when we first started doing that, my partner's like, oh, those bloody caravanners won't wave to us in a motorhome. And he'd get really like not waving to them. He goes, I bet you these people won't wave. And it was quite entertaining. And I was laughing. And I said, well, what if we just wave and we're just sending out the love that we're on the road having a ball. Yeah, let's wave, and not be attached to anyone responding.
Yeah.
And that's just something simple. It's something simple, but that's a little reminder of, or it's the same as if you go somewhere and you use your manners, say, thank you so much. And that person grunts at you, if we stay in our power and go, I'm sending it out. I'm not worried about what their response is. I'm just going to keep moving forward. Then that's a great reminder of love without expectation.
Exactly. Yeah. Guys, we're going to have to wrap this up really soon. The reason being my laptop's about to go flat. It just gave me a warning and I haven't plugged it in. But I do want to say a couple of things. Gay, I love the comment you got. She goes, Gay was saying she loves interacting with people during lockdown. The guys at Macca's was her bestie. So many freebies. I can see where he was a bestie, Gay, but he would have loved you coming around. That's what I'm talking about. That interaction is so super cool. Avichka's a dirty almond chai lover here. I like a dirty almond chai. It's not too bad.
Me too.
I also like
me too.
The dirty turmeric one as well. Give that a crack. Rachel goes, I lost my taste for 3 weeks. Still ate. Lost my cells too. Couldn't even smell Vicks vapor rub. Rachel, a crack up. What is it?
Love it.
There's some great advice here. Gay and everybody, just read over these comments. Margaret, Wendy, Karen, everybody's been so beautiful. Rachel, and you guys have been absolutely amazing today. You've really, really just put yourselves out there, put your hearts on your sleeves, and helped everybody out here. I hope everybody's going to have a little bit of a better week moving forward. It's been a bit heavy this week.
Yeah, that's
and you know, this is what makes TNT Thursdays such a great community, that we get to hang out and just talk about stuff, you know, which is great. So I'm going to say thank you all now, because I think my laptop
before you go boom.
Tonia, you're always awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Hey, let's all do this again next week. Hopefully we have a better week next week. If not, let's just talk about the same stuff and just keep on going. Oh, that sucks. Who's got some advice?
Repeat it.
That's what we're here for. See you.
Okay, everyone. Take care. See you next week.